Mr. Castro, you ready to proceed on your motion? Your Honor, we filed a motion to obey child support upon information and believe the department received information that the child was no longer with Ms. Idris Johnson as of November 1st, 2016, and was requested by the department to file a motion to obey child support retroactive to that date and to establish arrearages and get a repayment of those arrearages. I think we'll probably need to take some testimony and then find out where we are. Okay, who did you want to call first as a witness? I'd like to call Idris Johnson. Okay, ma'am, you've already been sworn in, so just answer the questions that Mr. Castro poses to you, okay? All right, ma'am, and you have a child with Mr. Inslee Evans? Correct. Okay, and what is the name of that child? Miracle Evans Johnson. And what is the date of birth of the child? 4/28/2003. Okay, you need to speak up, so, because we're recording everything. 28/2003. Okay, perfect. Where is that child residing? She lives with me. She lives with you? Yeah. Okay. Did she not live with you in November of 2016? She did. She did live with you in November of 2016? Yes. Has she continuously lived with you? Yes. I have proof here, documentation that shows her student schedule, her report card, and her demographic information from the school. Okay. And also my address, as well as my marriage license and utility bill and medical insurance. So you're saying that the motion that we filed, wherein we indicated that the child was not residing with you, is incorrect? That is incorrect. Okay. Has there been any time within the last year that this child has not lived with you? She lives with you. Okay. I have no other questions, Judge. Okay. Do you have any questions for Mr. Evans? No. Mr. Evans, do you have anything that you would like to offer today?
Yes, I have quite a bit to offer today. For the record, this child has been living with Valerie Johnson since she's been born. This child not only has lived with her, but she has gone to school from the same address where Valerie Johnson lives. Idris Johnson.
Hold on, sir, please. Let me just stop you occasionally if I have a question, okay?
Sure.
Who is Valerie Johnson?
Valerie Johnson is the grandmother who used to be the paralegal for the county for 20 years. She is and has been friends with Hernan Castro for years. So,
I just needed to know the relationship between Ms. Valerie Johnson and the child. That was my real question, okay? So you said that Ms. Valerie Johnson is the grandmother
correct.
Of the child?
Correct.
Okay. All right. What else did you want to say?
The other children that she fails to also add in is Kendria and Brasilia Johnson. These children were adopted.
Sir, let me just stop you because we're not here about those other children. We're only here about Miracle.
Okay. Well, Miracle is not my child. I was married to Idris Johnson for 6 months. And during that time, we have not spoken, have not seen each other. This child has been living with the grandmother, has never lived with Idris. She's been living with her girlfriend. You guys are trying to take... Okay. Sure. Yes, ma'am.
Just a moment, please. All right. So I'm just making some notes here. You said the child has lived with Valerie Johnson, grandma, and that the child is not your child. Okay. What else?
The child's last name is Johnson. They're denying me DNA. It's been the 3rd time since they've denied me DNA. I've never in my life have seen this child, nor will they let me see the child, talk to the child. And right now, the only thing that the Department of Revenue wants to do is keep me as part of their budget for 18 years. It has nothing to do with this child. And if it is my child, why won't they let me be a part of her life? Why is it that they just want to collect money?
Sir, let me stop you a minute. As far as I can see from the court record, there is an order that requires you to pay child support for this child and finds that you are a legally responsible parent required to pay support for this child. That's why the Department of Revenue is, and the clerk's office, I should say, correct myself here, the clerk's office is assessing current child support based on the terms of the court order that are in effect in this case. I do see, sir, that you have attempted to get an order for DNA testing and some other pleadings that you have filed, and those have already been addressed by the court.
They've been denied by Hernan Castro, ma'am. And this is the problem. That's why I reported him to the governor, ma'am, because you cannot continue to charge me for a child that you would not give me DNA proof. When we got married, she was pregnant. When we separated, she was still pregnant. So how are you guys trying to charge me for a child whose last name is Johnson? Her last name is not Evans, it's Johnson. Okay? This child is 13 years old, and yet I know nothing about this child. Okay? You keep telling me I'm responsible and you guys have a court order, but when you take it upon yourself, Hernan Castro and the Florida Department of Revenue, to steal from me, to steal from my 15-month-old daughter for a child that does not belong to me, nor have you proven it, nor have you provided any evidence other than I'm the presumed father. Presumed means you don't know. And until the DNA has been done, there's nothing really to discuss. You guys are doing illegal, unethical, immoral, and inhumane things to me and my child and all the rest of my children. I have biological children that belong to me who I do have DNA, and it was done with not a problem. So why am I being blocked from getting valuable information that can prove that this child isn't mine? Because you guys know it's not my child. Idris Johnson has a record of adopting children, and who knows, this child could be adopted. And until that happens, I need a DNA. You guys can't keep taking money and then telling me that you want money for a child that you say I'm supposed to be responsible for, but you won't let me take care of her. She's living with the grandmother. Now maybe because I filed something, she's back with her mom. But before then, she was living with a Valerie Johnson who added on to her house in order to accommodate Kendria, Brasilia, and Miracle. Those are facts.
Sir, hold on a moment, please. Can I give Mr. Castro an opportunity to ask you any additional questions based on what you have testified about, sir? Okay?
I have no questions for Mr. Evans.
Okay, he has no questions for you. All right, so, sir, based on what I have heard so far, there's conflicting evidence. Mom says that the child lives with her and has been living with her, and you say that that is not true.
Yep, check the school records. She went to school from Merritt Island, not from Cocoa, Florida. She's been living with Valerie. So y'all can check her elementary records, her middle school records. She has been living with Valerie.
Hold on, sir. Ms. I'm going to call you Ms. Johnson because that's what my record shows here. Ms. Johnson, you said you brought some school workers with you? Okay, Mr. Castro, do you have any objections if I take a look at them?
No.
Okay.
Ma'am, I noticed that your address is confidential.
Yeah.
It's not confidential in this case. Nothing is confidential in this case.
Sir, yes, because of past violent nature of Mr. Evans and previous restraining order.
Okay. So, do police documents contain your address?
These are the records. This shows my registration. This also shows my utility bill. I mean, I don't know what else.
But they contain your address,
Yes,
right?
my current.
Okay. Does it show where the child is registered in?
Yes. And that's what
Okay, which one shows where the child is registered in school.
It's the school demographic, which you can only get from the school, and this is her most current report card.
From the school. Okay. And you want the judge to view this document, is that correct? Alright, but you don't want them admitted into evidence because they contain your address, is that correct? You want the court to just review this in camera, in other words, by itself without accepting the documents with your address and into evidence, is that right? Correct.
Well, objection. I'm objecting to that. If all my information is public, if all my stuff is being stolen and taken, if my child's money has been taken, nothing is private. Nothing is confidential. You guys have put this out there, so it needs to be out there. She does not live with with Idris Johnson. She just now maybe started living with Idris, but she has never lived there with Idris. Idris was living with her girlfriend in Cocoa, Florida. The child has been going to school from Merritt Island.
Alright, sir, your objection is noted. So what school do you believe that Miracle is attending?
Oh, ma'am, I don't know, but she's been living with Valerie. I have no clue. I don't know. They wouldn't even meet me at McDonald's to let me see my child that they keep telling me is mine. Now, what type of stuff is this?
Sir, please listen to me for a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
You said, I believe I heard you say that you believe the child was attending school in a certain city. Is that correct?
She lives in Merritt Island and has gone to school from Merritt Island from Valerie Johnson's house, 1770 Colton Street.
Okay. 1770, what was the street?
Colton Street, Merritt Island, Florida.
Okay. Ms. Johnson, I see that you have brought several people here with you today?
Oh, I've only brought 2 people.
Okay, who are all the other people?
John and Johnson, Lear Johnson.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there anyone here named Valerie Johnson?
Well, sister,
All right, Ms. Idris, did you bring Valerie Johnson with you?
no, she's working.
Who are the people that are here with you?
Oh, my phone people are there. I'll get to each other.
Obviously, you disagree with a denial of their motion to abate the support, correct?
Correct. Because they can't prove it. All they can say is I was married to her for 6 months. That's all they can say. With no proof, no evidence, nothing. And then they make it to where I can't even be a part of the child's life, but yet I'm responsible for her. But if I was responsible for her, she wouldn't, I mean, if all the money they took and this little girl don't have no money in her account, where's all this money going? $190,000, ma'am, they hit my account. $63,000 in my checking, $63,000 in my savings, and $63,000 in my daughter's account, who's 15 months.
You would have to ask the child support office that question because the court is not responsible for where the money goes.
Okay, well, again, it's not my child, and until they can prove it, there's nothing really to discuss. Because I have sole custody of my daughter. It's court ordered that I have sole custody. So me trying to take care of someone else's child that isn't mine, that's not good for my child.
Are you saying you have sole custody of Miracle?
No. I have sole custody of Nathalia, who they took $63,000, made her account negative $63,000. That's my daughter.
Okay. Well, sir, I do see also in the court record that there was an order. Let me find it here. There was an order done. Let's see. I had a hearing on August 22nd, 2016. It was in front of the judge. And that was an order that dismissed your petition to disestablish. And it said the judge gave you 30 days from the date of that order, which was signed September 8th, 2016, to amend your petition to allege any newly discovered evidence.
Ma'am, Mr. Hernan Castro continues to block me from having a fair case because he's friends with Valerie Johnson. So every time I present something that is factual evidence, he blocks it. He presents it and says, oh, this shouldn't go forward. And he wants to make a recommendation of something else. Here's the problem with that. Again, he has not proven his case. That is, it is legitimately my child. Secondly, we continue to push this case for years and years and years. And while you guys steal my money and my life, you're not proving anything other than I was married to Idris Johnson for 6 months, which should have been just an annulment because we were only married from September 21st until March 22nd of 2003. So, and at that time, I lived in Miami, 4 hours away. And I only saw her every other weekend because I ran nightclubs in Miami and on South Beach. And I also had a teen club just specifically for the teens. So I was busy doing my own thing. I only saw Idris when I was able to get away from work or she would drive down. And she only drove down twice.
Sir, we don't need to go into all of the history.
The history is I've only been with Idris Johnson for three times the entire time we dated until she called me up there to say she was pregnant.
Sir, we're not here about any petition to disestablish paternity.
Okay. Well, ma'am, it's not my child, and I want a DNA. And if they're not going to give me a DNA, this case is over. There's nothing to discuss.
No. Well, you can choose to not continue to participate in the hearing if that's what you wish to do.
It's not my child, ma'am. Why can't y'all just give me a DNA? Why y'all blocking me? Because y'all know it's not my child.
We're not here, sir. We're not here about a motion for DNA.
Oh, okay.
We're about a motion to abate support.
Okay, well, abate is, yes. I'm. There's no motion. I'm denying their motion because there is no case.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. You were breaking.
I apologize, ma'am. There's no case. I'm denying their request for motion because there's no case. They have no evidence other than I was married to Idris Johnson for 6 months, and they created a case in order to put me in their system without even a fair trial, because if we would have had the DNA from the beginning, we wouldn't even be having this problem. But they want to continue to block me from this case. They even hold court hearings, man, without me.
So based on the evidence that I've heard today, I'm going to deny the department's motion. And if you still disagree with that order from today, then you can file a motion to vacate it and have a hearing with the judge.
Wait. Excuse me? Wait. I'm sorry, man. What you getting ready to do?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. You getting ready to do what?
No, I already denied their motion.